professional equipment. Alright, Chris, we're interviewing you for Infinitemma.com, which is the biggest fan site, MMA fan site in Australia and New Zealand, and most of your fans go there, so do you have any words for them just to start?
Yeah, it's great to be back in the UFC, and we really appreciate their reaction and response, I guess, to UFC coming here. They actually, walked the talk and showed that through ticket sales, so thanks.
Now, with this rematch, being an old fan of Aussie MMA, I was at the first one, and I'm looking very much forward to the second one. Elvis said he's looking at it as a new fight, and you said that as well. Are you looking forward to this rematch?
Yeah, look, it's not a new fight to me. That's Elvis's words. Yeah, the fact is he lost, and I'm one up, and I guess I'm giving him an opportunity to, put his words into action, and last time, I finished him with my chin in the eye. And, look, I beat the guy before him with my chin in the eye as well, so, it's sort of like telling him the move I'm going to do.
Who was it?
Yeah, something like that.
I remember. What is, now he said in his interview that, Chris has changed a lot, I've changed a lot in the last 10 years, we've been watching you fight, you have changed a lot since then. He's changed a bit as well. What is your plan to deal with the changes he's made in his game?
Yeah, look, I think Elvis has stayed the same as much as he's changed. At the end of the day, I think probably look at Elvis over the last 5 years, I don't think there's been much change in his game. And he's still a knob. So anyway, it's great fight. I'm looking forward to it probably more than anyone. It's a fight where I get an opportunity to fight up because I can fight middleweight now. It wouldn't take me too much to fight middleweight, but given the opportunity to fight Elvis, I'm happy to actually fight up. I wouldn't do it for anyone else.
Now, question I have for you, have you been given a UFC contract, or it's a one-off fight right now? Because I remember you had the Evan Tanner fight, and was that a contract of 3 fights? Or
no, back then, it was a fight where, I can't remember actually, to be honest with you, what that contract was, but it had to do with me winning or losing, change the contract.
It's a hard first fight off of that.
That was, 11 days notice as well. A lot of people don't realise that.
They went the distance as well.
Yeah, they rang me up and I wasn't at all fit. I mean, I had to lose weight, travel to London and fight Evan Tanner on 11 days. So, look, at the end of the day, I was fit for 10 minutes of it, and so he had, he sort of like, slaughtered me in the last 5. But, Evan's tough at any notice. You give me 3 months' notice, Evan's still a tough fight.
Yeah, that was a tough fight. You were competitive. That's all that's important. You're the first Aussie who, went the distance with Evan Tanner, so that was a good fight.
Yeah, that's right. Elvis didn't.
But they've you've promised you to come back regardless of the results, or it's a one-off opportunity? It's a one-off opportunity.
Look, at the end of the day, you make your own opportunity. Demolish Elvis, and who knows what's behind it.
Hey man, this is a really interesting fight stylistically for the fans. Elvis is coming from the jiu-jitsu background, you're coming from the rings background.
Yeah.
Have you been training jiu-jitsu for this, or have you been training submission wrestling?
MMA, yeah. So, look, I'm training with Dan Higgins. I think Dan's probably the best MMA coach in this country. We talk about raw MMA. There's nothing else to it. We put the gloves on and we punch and we wrestle. We don't do anything else. We fight the fight every training session and we keep it real. And it's been great for me because I've not trained like this before. I've always played it in my game, but now I've gone out and said, well, I'll just do what I have to do to win the fight. I only carry with me in the cage what I need, to win the fight. And so that's how we've approached this one.
Well, that brings me to the next question. I mean, you're from Queensland. You obviously have trouble finding training partners for all your fights. In terms of, besides your own students, have been many of training partners. Right?
And that's always been a problem. When I was fighting, heavily, I'd go over to maybe Iowa where Matt Hughes and them are, and you hop into that gym and everyone's giving you a hard time. You go right around it, everyone's going, and you just didn't have that here, and that was the difference, But I think now, our calibre has changed, you know, at even our level, and I think we can start to compete. You know, we might not be there yet, but I think you'll find that, you know, Elvis will probably say the same thing. You know, our competition in and around, you know, is getting harder. At Higgins Gym at Integrated, I mean, you had the likes of Noel, Kyle, and there's Adrian Pang. You know, there's people like that are just, you know, top-class fighters and prove to be.
Yeah, it's not a long time till we break through.
Yeah, it's exactly right. We're getting closer there. The UFC's here. There's no stopping now.
I've got a question for you just about yourself. No one really knows. Everyone's watched you fight in rings for, you know, hundreds of times. Well, not hundreds, but, you know, I mean, a lot of times. Who's your actual teacher from the rings dojo? What's your background from rings?
Look, I'll always say my dad was my original instructor, and then I met a guy called Bill Turner, who was the operational skills instructor at the Queensland Police Service, and he was a wrestler. Strongest man still today I've wrestled. That guy he's a freak. But I went over to Japan, and Akira Maeda, who's a legend over there in rings. He taught me a lot. You know, technically, he took me aside. He'd spent a lot of time with this poor Aussie kid that was just getting smashed. You know, I used to go over there, and there'd be all these Russians that do their sambo, and I'd spend, before the fight, I'd just be in the dressing room learning. You know, I'd be on the ground wrestling them and learning stuff, and I'd get my best training sessions like the hour before. You know, just learn all these skills. That's how I learn. You know, and that's why coming here, it's incredible. You know, to see the change.
We'd love to ask you 1,000 questions, because I'm sure you've got 1,000 good stories. But we'll stop there. Do you have anything quick for MMA fans at Infinitemma, just about your fight coming up?
Yeah, look, stay tuned, and I'll sort Elvis out.